Welcome back, everybody, to ETO. Back again, wrapping up our mini-series on investing. And in case you couldn't tell, we are feeling dangerous, and we're feeling ready to go. So, Paul, we're gonna kick this one off. I know this is something I think you actually started like preparing for this when we started this mini-series.
When we talked about investing, I know that was the first, like I created this Google Doc. Like we work through Google Docs so we can work on things throughout the week when we're not together and stuff. This Google Doc is, I don't know, a month and a half old at this point. Because I'm so excited about this one.
And if you aren't, if you didn't tune into last week, make sure first off you go back and check it out. We got a lot of feedback about the 401k.
Yeah.
Guys, stop yelling at me. All right, look, I know I said do a 401k if you can, but anyway, so the not financial advice, do what you want to do, but we had fun talking about it. And if nothing else, we appreciated the feedback.
Yeah, of course, we always, in positive, negative, we are always looking for constructive criticism. We're here for it because we don't know everything. We've been upfront this whole time. We don't know everything. We're learning as we go, and we're just trying to share what we're learning about with other people. You know, I think that's one of the fruits of life, right? Is to learn things and share it with other people, and that's what we're doing here with ETO.
But if you didn't see it, guys, make sure you click the Linktree link in the description. As always, one-stop shop, get us on all of our platforms. But as we did tell you guys last week at the end of the episode, today we're going to be wrapping up with investing in yourself. And Paul, I know you're super passionate, so I'm just going to let you go to town.
Let's go,
and I'll chime in. I'll chime in where I can, but. Investing in yourself.
So investing in yourself is so important because investing in yourself literally pours into everything in your life.
Yeah,
everything in your life. I feel like most people, when they show up in life, they want to show up and bring their A game, right? They want to bring their A game in their relationships. They want to bring their A game at work. They want themselves to bring their A game in everything that they're doing, and so much so that often they'll sacrifice themselves under the guise that it's putting other people in front of them, right? You hear it a lot of times with like mothers, putting their kid in front of, before themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They're focusing on their kid and then their health or whatever suffers for them. It's a noble idea, but in practice, it falls short, right? It doesn't truly work that way. And to truly show up for the people in your life, I like to use the analogy of a cup and a saucer, right? And if you're really wanting to show up for other people in your life, you need to give from your saucer. And what that means is you got to fill your cup up first. And when your cup overflows into your saucer, that's when you can actually give to people and give them approprially and give it their A game.
I can see it. I can see the analogy.
Cup, saucer, running over.
It's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Otherwise, you're giving everybody, you want to give the A game, you're giving everybody your C game. Yeah. And I would think most people, they believe that their loved ones, they deserve more than average. They deserve better than that. So you have to invest in yourself in order to be able to actually show up and give that A game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. And it's something I think I've known, but to hear you phrase it that way, it rings home even more so. It's how in the world am I supposed to give, my best self to my wife if I'm not my best self?
Right.
It makes sense. So what's some ways? I mean, I know there's literally a million ways, but what's some ways?
This is just a few that we've pulled. There are others, and if we didn't put what you think is super important to investing in yourself on this podcast, text us.
Yeah.
Shoot us a DM. Yeah. Like we want to hear about it because it may be something that we talk about later. It may be something that we haven't even thought of, and you're putting us on something that we need to know about.
Yeah. How do you guys invest in yourselves?
But I'd say the first one that I put on here, and again, these just kind of came to me when we were working on it, is getting a gym membership. Mm-hmm. Being active, it is a known fact that when you exercise, you feel better. When you are active, you feel better. It doesn't have to mean you go get on a treadmill and run 50 miles every day. I know that's an exaggeration. Nobody's really doing that, but it doesn't mean that you have to go do that. It doesn't even really mean that you need to go lift a bunch of weights. It doesn't mean just be active. Be active and not be sedentary. Walk. You can literally walk on a treadmill. And the whole concept of having a gym membership, it sounds funny. Like, I'm going to go get a gym membership and walk on a treadmill at the gym, but you are investing into something. And if you're paying, $10 a month or whatever it is at Planet Fitness or Crunch or wherever you want to go, but you're putting something into it, you're more likely to show up and get something out of it. Yeah. And if you are so intimidated by exercise and you don't know what to do there, hire a personal trainer. Hire somebody who can show you what to do and help you get to that place. You know, we've talked about putting yourself around people. Sometimes you got to pay people for their time to be around them.
Yep.
Get a personal trainer.
And I'm going to try really hard, actually. I know a couple of personal trainers. I'm going to try and get them on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get them on the show and talk about some of their day-to-day and, you know, their experiences with clients. Because I guarantee, I mean, I'm going to probably, you know, figure out more details about it, but I can almost guarantee you that they're going to tell you that the people that hire them show up because you've put something into it. You've put money. You've got it on the schedule. Like, you're going to be there. It's not just like, well, I don't know. I don't feel like going to the gym today.
If you don't have skin in the game, you're much more likely to say, I don't need to do that today.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow. But if you have an appointment scheduled with whoever it is, you're probably going to show up to it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to let them down and you don't want to waste your money.
No.
But the benefits of exercise, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, on another podcast. But just briefly, way to invest in yourself. Exercise.
Yeah.
Move.
Physical, mental. I mean, it's a huge help. But I know the next one that you want to talk about, you actually introduced me to.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things under this, the idea of self-care that I wanted to touch on here. But this is one that I personally believe in wholeheartedly, and that's cryotherapy.
I was a skeptic at first, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It made my shoulder's been jacked up a long time. It made my shoulder feel considerably better for a good while. So.
Right. You know, I mean, it's wild too. You think about it from the standpoint of professional athletes. You know, everybody, I feel like if you follow basketball, you know, like LeBron James has one in his house. Most, you know, professional athletes, they believe in this because there's science that backs it. But it has benefits to the regular person as well.
Yeah.
Benefits including reducing inflammation. So you wake up and your joints hurt. This is the way to fix that. Improving your mood. It increases brown adipose tissue. So we won't get into a lot of the science there, but brown adipose tissue is a type of fat on your body that actually burns fat.
Interesting.
So you got white adipose tissue, you got brown. You know, white just sits there. Brown actually burns fat as well. So ice baths, cold exposure, those are all ways to do this as well. They all increase that. I know I can speak from personal experience. Anytime I go do cryotherapy, when I walk out, I feel a boost in my mood.
Yeah.
Quick story on it. So I went one time and I was getting frozen. I don't say cryotherapy. Cryotherapy sounds very official. Like, no, I tell my wife or whoever, like, hey, I'm going to get frozen. And it's 3 minutes. Coldest you'll ever be in your life, but it's for 3 minutes. You can do anything for 3 minutes. I went one time before we were going to a basketball game. And in general, when I go to a basketball game with my job, I'm sitting over, I'm watching our bench. I'm keeping an eye on everything that's going on, especially in an away game. I'm just kind of watching everything that's, keeping an eye out for what could be coming down the line. If there's something that, unruly fan or something like that I might have to address. But this game, I was talking everyone's head off.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until it was probably like, I don't know, halfway through the fourth quarter of the JV game. I just realized that I'd been talking to everybody that was sitting around me. And it was so unconscious because my mood was just so much better.
Yeah.
I was just feeling so, I don't know, so good to be alive. And and it's a response to that cryotherapy. You know, when you go do it, it basically makes your body think you're going to freeze to death. And then when it realizes after the 3 minutes is up, oh, we're not going to freeze to death, let's just fix all this other stuff that's wrong with us right now. And it's super. I mean, like I said, I can't recommend it enough.
I only did it the one time you took me to go try it out, but yeah, I mean, I can attest to that. I mean, I don't know. You just feel the blood flow increase, the circulation increase. And I mean, blood is kind of like what the healing agent in like the body is. So when the blood gets kind of redistributed and goes to the areas where it needs to be repaired or fixed or whatever, man, yeah, you can tell a difference. Yeah, absolutely. It's huge. But I mean, you said cryotherapy, dude. I was trying really hard to like focus on what you were saying, but I pictured Arnold Schwarzenegger
Mr.
from
Freeze.
and he's like, I don't know. That's where anyway, yeah, moving on. So there's other
the greatest Batman movie of all time. No.
Hot take. No, but
that's not my take. Let's just make sure we say that.
This is self-care though. So what we're talking about.
I could talk about cryotherapy for a long time.
What's
stories, but let's continue on down the line. Massage. I'm not a person who necessarily gets massages, but I know like there's science that backs getting massages. It helps. I know my wife talked about. I think they did it for her bachelorette party. They got massages, and she talked about how great it was. And something else that I've done, and this is kind of it caught a little popularity for a moment with Stranger Things. Did you watch the show Stranger Things?
Seen Daredevil.
But, float tanks, sensory deprivation tanks. We actually have one down the road from us in Newport that I've gone to before, and you know, it's out there. It's a little different. It's not the same, not as mainstream as some of these other things we're going to talk about. But basically, it's a tank of water and Epsom salt, and it reduces inflammation. And I know a lot of folks aspire to it with, you use it for treating anxiety. I had a friend who went one time, and she described it as being the greatest massage that she'd ever had in her life. When she left, she was somebody who did get massages, but you're basically, floating in Epsom salt, and it's relaxing all of your muscles. All that magnesium soaks into your body, and it's super good for you. Those are kind of out there things you have to go do.
Yeah.
Let's get into some self-care things that you can do at home that cost you nothing.
Yeah.
And the big one that I want to talk about is sleep. That's one of the biggest ones. So when you're sleeping, that's literally when your body is fixing everything that's wrong with it, right? And if you're not sleeping right and you're not sleeping long enough, you can't fix the damage that you're doing to it. And you just naturally do damage to your body. You get sick or whatever. It's just that comes with living life. And if you're not sleeping right, you're not going to be able to repair all of those things.
And a lot of these things can stack on themselves too. So I mean, I can relate to this, and I'm not going to dive down, my brain. But you said like some of these things, like they help relieve like pain, inflammation, anxiety. Why don't people sleep well?
Yep.
Probably because they're dealing with some sort of pain. I know me personally, like, dude, my back and legs, sometimes it's tough to sleep. So if I can do some of these things where I can reduce pain, inflammation, kind of help address anxiety or whatever, good chance I'm going to sleep better.
Yep.
Good
100%.
chance. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Sleep's huge, but you do a combination of these things and you're probably going to see a pretty nice improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if you're not touching on those other things, some little things that you can do, fix your sleep environment. Your bedroom should be dark and it should be cool. You should, have a nice mattress. All of those things make sense. But
by the way, put in the comments, guys, what I'm in the market for a mattress. So look, what kind of mattress are you about? I've been looking at a few of them. I have a Sam's Club special right now, and it's doing the job, but it's old and it's not very comfortable. So put in the comments,
get that upgrade.
What's your favorite mattress? Thanks.
That's great. I'm very interested to hear what you get too.
Yeah.
Blue light exposure.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to, watch Netflix or whatever before they go to bed. That blue light exposure is messing with you.
Yeah, it
is. So our bodies, when they see blue light, and it's the same thing that's on your phone, they think it's daylight.
Yeah.
It just our bodies see that, like we recognize the sun in the morning, like, oh, it's time to get up. You're pumping that into your eyes at 10 o'clock at night before you go try to lay down. It's going to keep you from sleeping very well. And there are different things you can do. You can wear blue blocking glasses. I know iPhones, I don't know if Androids do this, but I know on iPhones you can have night shift where it actually, darkens some of those really bright colors, can get you where you can sleep a little better. But having a good evening routine. I think we talked about morning routines on one of our previous podcasts, but evening routines can be as important, if not more important, because you're setting yourself up for that sleep that then is going to indicate how you feel when you get up the following morning. So you're setting up your day the night before, right? And what you're doing in those hours before you go to sleep.
Yeah. No, so my wife, Allison, is really good at this.
Yeah.
And I'm not so good at it, but no, she's like clockwork. She likes to go to bed early. She wakes up early. Most of the time, she's the one that puts our son to bed. I do sometimes for sure, but most of the time she does it. She really likes to do it. But her routines at night are really, really great. And I joke with her all the time. Sleep for her is like a reset button. But like that's good for her. But like anything, and I jokingly said this to her anytime like we get in like a little argument or something. I was like, we should probably just go to sleep, huh? And it's because seriously, like she sleeps so well that the next day, man, she's just reset. But I don't sleep that well. So
you're still back there frustrated.
No. But I joke. But she does these nighttime routines and she sleeps really well. And I mean, so it works because I really probably don't do these routines very well.
Right.
And I also don't sleep very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'd tell you another thing too is keeping in mind what the bedroom is for.
Ayo. Wait a minute now.
There, and it was a PG podcast, so we're not going to get into
It's family show.
We're not going to get into anything crazy, but there are two things that are meant to be going on in the bedroom. One of them sleeping, the other one's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right. You're probably not, shouldn't be, if that's also your workspace, I would find a different workspace.
I hear
some people have, you don't have a ton of room in your house or whatever. You might have your desk set up in your bedroom. I would strongly suggest putting that thing somewhere else, because if it's sitting there in your bedroom, you're going to keep thinking about the stuff that you were doing over at that desk.
Yeah.
You would be much better served getting it from out of the room, putting it in another place where that's where you work. And when you are in the bedroom, it's meant to be, like it says, sleep and the other thing.
Yeah.
And if you have those other things there that you aren't necessarily setting up for your best night's sleep, they're always going to be a distraction. They're always going to be something that you think about, and it's going to keep you, make you lay there and toss and turn a little bit. So making your sleep environment is so important for setting up that night of sleep. It's going to reset you and have you feeling better the next day and set up your next day.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, no doubt about that. I know another one that we talked about, and again, guys, I'm talking about it. I'm not good at all these things, but I'm working on it.
We're all work in progress. But if somebody tells you they're not a work in progress, they're a liar. Yeah. But everyone is a work in progress that is trying to get better at
1,000,000%. But this next one, I know, it hit me. And that's eating real food.
Yeah.
Like,
it's important.
Just to get off all this processed gas station food, and I'm speaking for myself here.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, like most days, even still to this day, it's, I've realized, I didn't really like eat lunch, but I stopped at the gas station and got like, I don't know, like some peanut butter crackers or something. Like, it's not even really peanut butter. I don't know what that stuff is.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like, I need to be better at this. But eating real food, it's going to be huge.
It is. I mean, the better you eat, the better you're going to feel.
Yeah.
The better you eat, the better you're going to think. Food, our bodies are literally made out of the things that we eat.
Yeah.
And if you are eating highly processed foods, which is 60% of the standard American diet right now, like you're making your bodies out of Doritos and stuff like that, and you're going to function like a Dorito. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to function properly, right? Yeah. And a methodology that I personally ascribe to, and it's just me personally. So I genuinely try to shop the perimeter of the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's where your produce, your meats, and stuff like that are going to be. When you get into the center of the grocery store, that's where you run into your more heavily processed foods. And that's not saying you can't have any processed foods.
Yeah.
But it's a simple little rule. If you're going to look at some processed foods, look at your ingredient labels.
Yeah.
Look at them, because I feel like the majority of people don't. They see it and they think, all right, cool, this is some tortilla chips, whatever it is, I'm throwing it in the car. That's what I want. It sounds good. Read your ingredient labels and actually learn what's in your food. Learn what some of those things are. And a general rule is, if you can't read the word, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Right? It's funny. It is. But if you look at an ingredient label and you see all kinds of these crazy things in there, you probably shouldn't be eating that thing. Yeah. If you see something that says red number 5, that's probably not good for you. Even if you can read that, that's probably not something you should be putting into your body.
Its ingredient is a color.
Right. And it's, you can really go down there. A lot of great accounts to follow on social media to learn more about these things. I think Vani Hari has her name. She had a book called, I think she's the food babe, I'm pretty sure. But she has a book where there's like the lies that we're told about some of the things that are in our food and how awful they are to us. There's another account online. It's like Just Ingredients or something like that, where they go in and they do deep dives on like what, and I tell you what's wild when you get into it. And this might be a topic for a future podcast for us to do, comparing the ingredients that we allow in America to be in our foods versus the ingredients that they allow in, say, the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild. If you look into it, I'm sure we'll probably talk about it. I know you may hear some future videos where we just we go on social media and we talk about certain things, and I know for a fact that'll be one you hear from me about, because it's crazy, man. What some of the things that we allow here that you just simply can't do in other countries.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that, because guys, ETO, we do go on the road sometimes. If you didn't see my little clip on your life hack at the pump. Make sure you go check that out for sure. I know Paul's got some in the works right now. And that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
I see Paul just getting heated in the middle of the
It
grocery
does.
store.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there, man.
Yeah.
And I tell you, or just a quick story. My dad was diagnosed with a disease a while back, and he's doing better now. But immediately after that, I took him. We walked to the grocery store.
Yeah.
We walked to the grocery store and we started looking at the foods. And I tell you a moment that I will never forget is one time we were out, all of us, we were out, me and my parents and Emily, and we just swung by a store, and I was off with Emily doing whatever, and just came back around, and I just happened to see my dad down looking at an ingredient label on something.
Yeah.
Because he had learned, he had recognized, like, man, this is what I'm making my body out of, and I need to take more ownership of it. And I can get heated in grocery stores. Like I'll look at something and be like, man, you were doing so good.
Yeah.
You're doing so good at creating whatever it was, and then you threw safflower oil or rapeseed oil or something like those. Just sound terrible.
Yeah.
And they're not good for you. They're just not.
And honestly, too, like I put so much effort we pretty much know now, but we put so much effort when we first got our dogs and like making sure that they had like a good, well balanced, like actual like good food and not all this like fake crap that they put in there. And most of them, I never done that for myself.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
we could talk about that forever.
Yeah.
We had a lot of other things I want to hit on before we run out of time for today. But the next one, and we've kind of talked about this in the past and in a previous podcast too, is getting outside. Getting the vitamin D exposure, getting the fresh air, if you're stuck inside all the time and you don't ever get sunlight, like, you're not setting yourself up. You're not if you're not getting sunlight in the morning, you're not setting yourself up for your best night's sleep.
Yeah.
Going back to a couple points ago. But just getting outside and being in the sun, being in the fresh air.
It's nice this weekend here too. So yeah, man.
It does.
I told you earlier, I was like, I opened my sunroof today. It was so nice out. I was like, I forgot I had a sunroof.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we had just talked, we're working all day today. We're gonna order some lunch. We're gonna have somebody bring some lunch in. We're like, well, forget that. It's great outside. We're gonna go get something.
We're gonna go get
throw
some
it on
nice,
the grill.
clean, natural food, and we're gonna grill it up and enjoy the day.
So that's rounding out the self-care items that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But by all means, if there's anything that you feel like we missed, I want to hear about it, because it might be something that I want to throw into my routine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next point that we had on here, though, was prioritizing relationships.
Go check out that relationship podcast.
We're not going to do a deep dive into that because we already did that.
Our relationship podcast so far has gotten more views than anything that we've posted, which, I mean, first off, go check out everything out. But if you've not seen that relationship podcast, trust me, do it before it's too late, because there are some like time sensitive things that you might be hindering your relationships. You don't even know you're doing.
And I tell you, I think why that relationship one was so powerful, why it's been seen by more people, why people are watching it more, and
still watching it weeks after.
Probably sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
It's how applicable it is to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. It's how real estate investing is only going to apply to somebody who's interested in real estate.
Totally
investing,
fair.
Right.
Yeah.
In theory, I would want the people who aren't invested in that or interested in that right now to learn more about it, because it is so powerful. But if you're not interested in it, you're probably not going to listen to that.
Something's more powerful than that, your relationship.
Same thing with 401ks, but your relationships, everybody, you have relationships with somebody, right? Could be coworkers, could be your neighbor, could be family. You've got relationships in your life. And I think that's why it applies to so many different people. And I feel like the same way with this one, because everybody has their relationship with herself.
Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So, I know the next one, way to invest in yourself, invest in a skill.
Yeah.
Invest in, and so like we've mentioned before, we actually mentioned at the end of our 401k podcast last week that, if you want to be able to increase your investing power, buying power on stuff, like make more money. And like,
that seems simple.
It's so simple, but so many people, and I was guilty of this for a long time too. And I did have a shift in my perception about it. And ever since that shift happened, I mean, I acted on it, but ever since that shift happened, I have been able to make more money. And it's because initially I was thinking to myself, man, make the money, make the money. I need more money, or whatever. But I wasn't adding any value. So like, why do I deserve more if I don't deserve it?
Right.
So it's like, I say learn a skill. Learning a skill is going to increase your value. And when you increase your value, I promise you the money will come. If I go tell, whatever, if you go tell your boss, hey boss man, I need a raise.
I just want to make more money. Give me some more money.
Why?
Exactly.
Why? You're the same person I hired 5 years ago. You haven't improved your skills. You haven't learned anything new. You've not added to your value. Why would I pay you more? Now, Paul, don't take that personally.
Right.
I'm not talking about you, but just that. I mean,
Just
like, that's
in,
pretty.
in general, you should be able to speak to that.
Yeah.
Of course, you have more experience now than you did 5 years prior.
Yeah.
But you can always make yourself more valuable.
Yeah.
By adding more tools into your tool belt. Right.
Yeah.
You
Every
think
skill is
about,
another tool.
We made a reference to Batman earlier. You think about Batman and his tool belt,
Yeah.
right? He's got his utility belt. He's got all these things where he can shoot things up and climb up buildings or whatever. Like, what are you adding to your tool belt? What skills are you adding to yourself that makes yourself either more marketable or more valuable?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things too where it's like you're never going to like regret learning a skill, even if it doesn't directly equate to or lead to like more money or more success or whatever. Like okay, you still have that in your back pocket. It's still in your tool belt. Like, who cares if it didn't end up working out the way that you thought? Like, man, read and learn, do and learn. If and try and target it so you're not wasting your time necessarily. But like, you're not going to regret learning a skill. Like, and learn skill for yourself too. Like, even we're talking about like to make more money, to add value, to acquire more wealth. That's great, dude. What if you're just a homeowner and you don't know how to make a drywall repair?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, learn how to do that, because now you're invested in yourself. You're invested in your property. You're invested in taking care of and taking ownership and maintaining something that you care about. Learn it. If you don't know how to do whatever, and drywall, if you don't know how to do, like, I don't know, drywall work, learn how to do it.
Change the oil in your car.
Dude, there you go. There's a really good one. Yeah, seriously. So, I mean, yeah, learn a skill.
And we're living in the information age too, where you can get a lot of this for free.
It's all free online.
It's for free. You can, like you talked about patching drywall. I guarantee you
can find a YouTube
you can
video.
find 30 videos on YouTube
right now.
How to patch drywall. And you never know that there was a hole there or whatever. Like, go on there and learn whatever skill it is. There are apps. Learn a language.
Yeah,
there. I think Duolingo might be the name for it. I think
familiar.
so.
Yeah.
But you can literally learn Spanish or French or whatever from your phone.
I mean, our good friend, he is fluent he in Spanish. He is, man, he took so many Spanish courses in college, and he's taught Spanish, and now he's like the head of like a program for multiple schools where because he is so fluent and phenomenal in both English and Spanish. And what did he do? He added value to himself because he learned, I don't know how to speak Spanish.
Right.
He's more valuable than I am now because he can.
Right.
And like, he's using it for his career and something he's passionate about, which is great. That's phenomenal. But like, man, like, what happens when that man wants to travel the world or something? You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's got a leg up on me.
Yep.
That's for sure. So he added a skill and put a tool in his tool belt that no one can ever take from him.
Right.
You can't take it from him. But he put in the time.
Right.
He'd been learning Spanish since high school, at least, maybe even sooner. Yeah. So I mean, but look at it now. He's more valuable because of it.
Right.
So learn a skill, man. Learn a skill. All right, Paul. What else we got?
Another thing that not necessarily as serious, but probably is just as important as learning a skill is finding good hobbies.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Finding things to do that you enjoy that are going to fill your cup up.
Yeah.
Right? And that last part is super important, right? Like, they need to be positive hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking, gambling, smoking, that probably shouldn't be your hobbies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're not things that are going to fill you up. They may be things that are fun in the moment, and you may be like, this is great. But I promise you, when after the fact, unless you hit it big gambling, you're not going to feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
I've never talked to anybody that had 30 beers the night before and the next morning they felt great.
I feel attacked.
Never.
No.
Never talked to anybody that felt great after that. You know what I mean? But there are just so many benefits to having hobbies and finding ones that are positive influences. One of the ones that I immediately thought of, because I'm a huge music fan. I love music. Is learning an instrument. Yeah. Learning how to play an instrument.
Yeah.
There is
for those of you that don't know, Paul's pretty nice on the guitar now.
There was a time.
Yeah.
I don't put as much time into it as I would like to these days.
Yeah.
But there's science behind using both of your hands that actually causes your brain to fire better.
Okay.
You actually are activating the other side of your brain. We're all dominant or whatever,
gotcha,
one
yeah,
side of your brain, but you're actually activating the other side by using both of your hands. And when you're playing something like a guitar, you're forced to use both of your hands, because you know whatever your hand you're dominant with, you use it for everything. You use it for eating, brushing your teeth, whatever. And if you're playing an instrument, you're forced to activate that other hand. You can also kind of a little hack there, you know, brush your teeth with your offhand.
Yeah.
You know, you pick your fork up with your right hand and pick your fork up with your left hand, and you're gonna have a learning curve there.
Yeah.
You might drop some food on you a time or two, but
Yeah.
But you know, it's activating that other side of your brain, right? And that's where like something like playing an instrument is so valuable. You know, reading,
Mhm.
you know, reading books, and it's not saying like, you know, watching TV is fine. That can be a hobby from time to time.
Yeah.
But it reading is going to activate so many other things for you too. You have to be more creative because you have to use your imagination, you know, and instead of seeing, you know, whatever character from Katniss from Hunger Games up there pulling back her bow, like you're having to imagine it when you read it.
That's an interesting choice. That
Yeah,
you
I went with Katniss.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
know?
That's a good
I,
choice.
I want to watch Hunger Games.
Yeah.
But
I got
you know, and it's like I said, it's not saying you shouldn't enjoy watching TV. TV's fine.
Yeah, we're not preaching against TV
No.
necessarily, but I
No,
mean, there's
absolutely
other
not.
ways to stimulate your brain into invest in yourself besides just like staring at a screen. I mean, yeah, I mean, so TV, especially nowadays, like it's, you know, the graphics are so good and the surround sound system, it's so inclusive, and it's just like it tries to put you there, which is great. But like, and it's like a cool experience, like what technology can do these days, like 4K, 8K, whatever. You know, it's insane. As I tell Alex sometimes, like when we see 4K, I don't think I can actually see that good. I don't understand exactly even what I'm looking at. But so much is lost when you don't have to imagine it.
Right.
Like you say, Katniss, like, you know, she draws that bow and you hear it on the surround center. But what if you're reading it? Now your brain is thinking and moving in a different way.
Right.
And it's not even just about that experience. It's about activating, you know, kind of maybe like dormant parts of your brain that is going to fire a creative idea up into something you weren't even on. Yeah,
Exactly.
you weren't even on it.
Exactly. So you're using that hobby of reading and the creativity that you're getting from your mind of having to imagine these things. And then that carries over into your business. You know, that carries over, say you're a chef and you have a food truck and, you know, you are, you know, your creative juices are flowing and you're like, oh, well, I'll come up with, you know, the Katniss burger, you know what I mean? Like that's just, you know, that's a silly name, but like, it's something completely unrelated, and it sparks that creativity.
So
you know what I mean,
I got something, another hobby. And this was not planned, guys, but because it just happened. I didn't even get a chance to tell you yet. So Nathan came over to the house the other night.
Yeah.
Nathan and his family, they came over to the house for a little bit, and we were down. There's a couple ponds in the front of like where we live, and you can go fishing. So me and Nathan went down there with his kids, and we were fishing. And whatever, you know, we didn't catch anything, but it was a beautiful day. We were outside, like you're talking about earlier. So we got outside. But on our way back, we got to pass like a little series of like tennis courts there. And there were some guys out there, you know, roughly our age or something, 30s, 40s. And they were out there playing pickleball.
Nice.
Which I played pickleball like in high school one time, if I remember, you know what I mean? But the guy stopped us on the way. He's like, "Are you guys trying to run some pickleball?" And me and Nathan were like, yes. Yes. So anyway, we went back to the house and whatever, and like we dropped the kids off and we came back and we played pickleball with these guys we never met before. But one, that was and now also, by the way, there's a league now. Yeah. Like the guys, they were all down there like, we should do this more often. This is great. So now like they've created a pickleball league, and I'm going to be in it. And what that's doing is, one, I stepped out of my comfort zone. I don't really like to meet new people like historically. But I went and I met these guys, and they were super nice guys, phenomenal, just, you know, funny, just a blast. I'm out there, I'm getting some exercise, I'm in the sun. I've stacked, you know, a couple really nice, you know, self-improvement and self-investing strategies just by having a hobby.
And it'll all compound.
Yeah.
And it all compounds.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, sir. All right, so we are getting pretty close to the end of this, and this one it's a little bit heavier, but it needs to be said. Man, deal with your past. Like deal with it.
Whatever your stuff is, you need to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's going to hold you back if you don't. And you know, I understand. Like some people got some pretty nasty past, and that's tough to think about and tough to deal with. And I'm fortunate enough that, you know, my past is not nearly as bad as like some people have it, and I realize that. So I'm not going to act like I know the pain that some people deal with, but you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a therapist, but maybe you should go talk to one. I mean, seriously,
Absolutely.
I'm not a therapist, but maybe you should go talk to one, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. Talk to some, and it doesn't even have to be a therapist. Talk to your mom. Talk to your dad. Talk to your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband. Talk to somebody. Talk to your buddy. Talk to your friend.
There's just a stigma around mental health,
Yeah.
and I feel like in general we're getting away from that as a society. At least the stigma around it.
Yeah.
Or we're trying to. There's no shame in needing to talk to somebody about something.
Yeah.
There's not,
No.
and it's like a weight that'll be lifted off your shoulders by sharing, whatever it is with somebody. And the nice part of it, with if you do go talk to a therapist or whatever, they're able to give you tools, going back to your tool belt, tools to help deal with those things.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to move past them unless you move past them.
Full transparency, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I've talked to a therapist quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on doing that, but it helped. It helped. And like you just nailed it. I have strategies now that help me deal with my stuff, help me deal with my past. And I mean, you bury it, man. Eventually it's going to crawl out. And it's just not worth it. So deal with your stuff, man. Again, we're not going to get too deep on that, but if you don't deal with it, it's going to, in a lot of ways, and probably situation will dictate how, but in a lot of ways, it's going to prevent you from investing in yourself, right? Because you got these weights tying you down. Mm-hmm. So deal with it, man. Deal with it. Don't be ashamed of it. Deal with it. And once you deal with it, then do these other things we're talking about and continue to invest in yourself and grow. So, but guys, that is kind of the last thing that we're going to talk about. And we are wrapping up this mini-series, as we mentioned in the early going. So we like to, as you guys know, we always wrap up with a last thought. Paul, take us out of here. Last thought, and also the last thought of the investing mini-series too.
Yeah,
so
now I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this.
Honestly, I built that up. I built it up. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think this is a really good one though. And it's kind of a way to enjoy life more.
Who doesn't want that?
And that's practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude in all areas of your life. I always like to back up things that I bring to the table with studies, with studies that I can find. And I found this when it was on the Harvard Health website. And it was two different psychologists, Dr. Robert Emmons and Dr. Michael McCullough. I believe one was at University of California, one was at the University of Miami. But in the study, they asked participants to just write down a few sentences each week that focused on a specific topic.
Yeah.
So it was 3 groups. One group wrote about things that they were grateful for that happened that week. Another group wrote about the things that got on their nerves, getting their frustrations out, writing them down. And then the third group, they could write about whatever affected them. It could be positive or negative. They just had to write about something that affected them. And what they found, they did this study for 10 weeks. What they found after those 10 weeks was that those people who wrote down the things they were grateful for were more optimistic and they felt better about their lives. Yeah. And not only, those are kind of subjective, right? Not only were they more optimistic and they felt better about their lives, but going back to some of the things we talked about earlier, those people also exercised more and they went to their doctor less.
And go figure. Yeah.
Than those who focused on sources of aggravation. So aggravation. So what does that mean? What does that tell us? If you are more thankful for where you are, you are more likely to do those other things that are filling your cup up, right? Yep. And chances are you are probably somewhere in your life that you either hoped and prayed for to be there.
Yeah.
Right? You may have a job that is stressful, but probably past you was praying to be in that position, was praying to get that opportunity. And, sometimes we can get lost in, wanting what's next, and being prepared for what's coming down the line. And it's important to be looking ahead. It's important to be trying to advance yourself or wanting whatever that next stage of life is. But don't lose sight of where you are currently and be grateful for those things.
Where you came from.
And find those things to be grateful for in your life too. It could be little things. It could be, that a hand soap in the bathroom smells good. Yeah. It could be, I don't even know. I'm a person, I love outdoors. You talked about fishing. I love going fishing. I love going hunting. It could be seeing wildlife. Yeah. Like the other day, I randomly I saw a turkey up in a field up by the house, and it brightened my day. Because I recognize I'm going to be grateful for that because that was something really small, but it was something that I could be grateful for. Yeah. And the more you can find things that you're grateful for, the more you'll enjoy life.
Yeah. I mean, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. And it's tough. It's probably harder than it ever should have been ever. And I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but all you see on TV is negativity.
Mm-hmm.
All you see online is negativity. I mean, mostly, and for whatever reason, it's like, that's what sells, man. Like people like to
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
People like to see fear and like trouble and like bad stories. So like turn on the news and it's never like, hey, yeah, look at this, happy, fun thing. It's not like, here's a 7-car pileup. It's like, it's terrible.
You have 30 minutes of the news, 25 minutes of it is, relegated to negative stories, things that are in fear. And then at the end, they're like, oh, but this little good thing happened.
Yeah.
So there's a little, sugar on top to make you feel better, but it doesn't make you feel better.
No. So take it upon yourself, man. Don't rely on other people.
Mm-hmm.
You start practicing gratitude in your life, and you're going to notice a life improvement.
And nothing says you have to write it down. Nothing says you have to journal it. Just acknowledge it. Mentally acknowledge it. I didn't include this, but so on my phone, I have a reminder that goes off on my phone every day, one at noon, one at 5, one at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
The noon asks me what my win of the morning is.
Yeah.
My 5:30 asks me what my win of the afternoon is. And my 9:30 is what's my win of the evening. Mm-hmm. And I have that pop up, and now sometimes I'm busy and I just swipe it away and it goes away. But I have it pop up so that I can be conscious of something good happened this morning.
Yeah.
And it could be that I just saw a turkey. You know what I mean? That's silly.
Yeah.
But it could be something that small, right? It could be that my cup of coffee tasted really, really good.
Yeah.
Right? But there's always something that I can say that was a win, and that's something that I'm grateful for.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never really practiced it like that, but dude, I drank more water today than I've had in like probably weeks combined.
That's a dub, man.
I mean,
I'm
good, but honestly, I feel good too. I feel good. So I'm thankful. And, the one thing when it comes to investing in yourself, when we first started this mini series, and this is still true, but I think I made the comment, it might've been you, but it was brought up that all investing has some just like inherent natural risk.
Right.
We lied to you. We lied to you because investing in yourself it doesn't really have any risk.
No.
Again, and I think I did say this just a little bit ago. It's like, okay, like you invest in a skill or something like that and you ended up like not using it or it didn't pan out how you thought. Like, who cares? Like, do you regret getting that skill?
Right.
It's not like it hurt you. I mean, it's not like it made you a worse person. No, literally, you're not going to regret it. There's no risk. You're going to regret, fishing, playing pickleball? No.
Going for a walk?
No. You're never going to regret those things. There's no risk in it at all. You might find that, maybe some things aren't for you, or this didn't really have like the return that you were expecting it to have. And that's fine. But like, did you lose something? Because that's kind of like what risk is. It's like return is like the win, and risk is like the potential loss.
Right.
Did you lose something? Was a chunk of your life taken out? Did you lose whatever? No.
Answer is no.
The answer is no. There's no risk in investing in yourself, but it's at the same time one of the most powerful things you can do, and almost it's kind of like a building block of investing is, like you said, the cup and the saucer. It's like invest in yourself first, man.
Fill that cup up.
So guys, I'm pretty sure it's sad, man. It's sad.
I know. It's sad to see the investing go, but I would put money on it that we come back and we hit on some of these topics again and expound on some of them. There was a couple times here that I could have talked the entire time about a few of these topics, I'm sure that they'll come back up. But I'd say I'm excited for next week.
Tell us about Paul.
So next week we're doing our first like a Q&A. We've had some people reach out. They want to know. They've generally said they want to know more about us.
Yeah,
we want to know what you want to know,
and that's a fair point. The one comment we actually got said something like, "Tell us who you are, what your background is, what your expertise are, more about you, because I like what you're saying, but I feel like I don't really know you that well." And I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, so ask us.
Yeah,
ask us. So
tell us what you want to know.
We're going again.
We're
tweet
open
us.
books.
Yeah.
Unless we don't want to tell you,
in which case then we're not going to, no. But seriously, tweet us, DM us, hit us up on Instagram. We're going to put some polls up and stuff like that. And
text us.
Text us 859-414-3881. Anything you want to know. Again, we will talk about absolutely anything unless we don't want to. But it's going to be fun. It's going to transition us to out of this investing mini series, which I had a blast with. I know you did too.
I did.
So guys,
a lot of things. It's been great.
Click that Linktree link in the description. Be on the lookout for our Q&A. Get your questions ready to roll. We're going to address them all on next week's episode. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be funny because I know for a fact, like my friends that are watching this are already scamming, trying to get information out of me.
We're gonna get some crazy questions.
Yeah, it's going to be good though. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you again so much for tuning in to ETO. We'll see you next time.
We out.